Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss the topic of keratitis. I am Dr. Sidra Riaz from Ophthalmology Department. Keratitis is inflammation of the most anterior layer of the eye, that is cornea. It is a transparent layer and it is most sensitive layer. Its clarity and transparency, it matters a lot for the clear vision. There are 5 layers of cornea: epithelium, Bowman's layer, corneal stroma, Descemet's layer, and endothelium. Here you can see the histological section of the cornea, where the anterior most is the epithelium, which consists of further 3 to 4 layers lying over a Bowman's layer, that is a single layer. Third layer is the stroma, where the keratocytes are present, and it is the most thickest layer among all 5 layers of the cornea. Then comes the Descemet's membrane, which lies over innermost layer of the cornea, that is endothelium. If due to any reason there is inflammation of any of the layers of cornea, this inflammation is known as keratitis. Keratitis is mostly infective in nature. Whenever there is inflammation or infection of the cornea, it can result into keratitis. In this picture you can see there is redness around the limbus. There is a whitish mass involving the pupillary area of the cornea. The transparency of the cornea is totally lost. This whitish area, it covers a localized part in the cornea. You can see the hypopyon in the anterior chamber, that is collection of the pus, and it shows a level, horizontal level, you can see in the picture. Usually this condition is very painful, and this will help you to distinguish keratitis from conjunctivitis, where inflammation is present but the cornea is clear and there is dull ache. But in keratitis, along with congestion, the transparency of the cornea is lost, and depending upon cause of keratitis, there are multiple presentations, but in this picture you can see this is typical keratitis. This is bacterial keratitis actually. This is another presentation of keratitis, where you can see the transparency of the cornea is lost. There is 360 perilimbal congestion of the cornea. You can also see the hypopyon. This is the hypopyon, and this is the horizontal level of the hypopyon. This is circumcorneal congestion. Normally the sclera is whitish in appearance, but here you can see the reddish appearance. This is known as circumcorneal congestion or perilimbal congestion. Here you can see in the center the whitish lesion. This is actually the main area which is involved in the keratitis. This is a picture of fungal keratitis, and usually the fungal keratitis is preceded by trauma with the vegetative material like tree branch or any other material regarding this vegetative material. And here you can see the pupil margin. The clinical feature of the keratitis: number 1 feature is the pain. Number 2 is decreased vision. As the transparency of the cornea is lost, it is associated with decreased vision. Other features are lacrimation and photophobia, and then congestion or red eye. So if the patient presents with pain, congestion, decreased vision and lacrimation, then your first diagnosis will be keratitis. There are different types of keratitis depending upon cause of infection. Number one is the bacterial keratitis, then comes the viral and fungal keratitis. There are certain associated factors which can lead to keratitis, which include the corneal abrasion, contact lens wear, or rarely the vitamin A deficiency. Vitamin A is associated with epithelium, intact epithelium. It will help to maintain the epithelial function. So if there is deficiency of vitamin A, the epithelium cannot function properly, and it can lead to epithelial debridement or abrasion, and the infectious organisms, bacteria, viral or fungus, they can penetrate into deeper layers and can result into keratitis. Contact lens is a common cause, because if the person is using contact lenses and he or she is not using the hygienic measures while wearing these contact lenses, it is a common cause that can result into keratitis. Regarding parasitic keratitis, acanthamoeba is an important organism where pain is out of proportion to the lesion. The patient will complain of excruciating pain, and you can see a very small lesion on the cornea. Usually the contact lens wearers, they present with such keratitis. Regarding risk factor of keratitis, you must know that actually it is the break in the continuity of the upper epithelium of the cornea. And what we say, any break in the continuity of epithelium, that is ulcer or keratitis. So corneal ulcer or keratitis, it will result whenever there is breach or break in the continuity of the upper epithelium of the cornea. This epithelium is actually protecting the cornea from certain infectious or toxic organisms. It will not it will help the cornea, it will protect the cornea, and usually the microorganisms, they cannot penetrate in the intact epithelium of the cornea except few organisms like Neisseria gonorrhoeae and Neisseria meningitidis. Another organism which can penetrate the intact epithelium is diphtheria, but these organisms usually do not lead to infectious keratitis until there is some predisposition, like decreased immunity of the patient. This slide shows the risk factors. Number one among the risk factors is trauma. What will trauma do with the cornea leading to keratitis is that it will reduce a breach in the corneal epithelium. Second one is chemical or thermal injuries. Foreign body, radiations. These predisposing agents or predisposing conditions will lead to the epithelial breach and leading to further organism penetration into the deeper layer of cornea, resulting in bacterial keratitis. The meticulous use of eye drops. The eye drops, especially the steroid eye drops, they lead to decreased local immunity and increased prevalence of infection with the microorganisms. So these steroid drops should not be prescribed to any of the person unless necessary or prescribed by certified ophthalmologist. The chronic use of topical anesthetics, it is very common among the mechanical workers that whenever they have injury with metallic foreign body, they use to instill these anesthetic drops, and pain is relieved for few minutes. But if one person is using topical anesthetics drop chronically, then it can also result in disruption of corneal epithelium, and it will a risk factor for microbial infection, bacterial infection. Bacterial keratitis is the first entity. Here you can see that there is a central small roundish ulcer. In this area, if you stain this area, you will find that there is no intact epithelium over this area. You can see the localized thinning here. There is a hypopyon in the anterior chamber, that is collection of pus. Here is the horizontal level of hypopyon. This whole area is hypopyon. Then you can see the circumcorneal congestion. Throughout 360 degrees of limbus, you can see increased congestion. Normally this eye is normally not red in such, but in bacterial keratitis or after infections or inflammation, this circumcorneal 360 congestion is commonly seen. What you will do for treatment of such keratitis? There is certain steps of general treatment, and of course for bacterial keratitis you need to give a certain antibiotics. Which are the specific antibiotic drops? Tobramycin eye drops, moxifloxacin and fusidic acid. Tobramycin and moxifloxacin, they cover the gram-negative organisms. Fusidic acid is for gram-positive organisms. Here you can see the bacterial keratitis due to Streptococcus pneumoniae. Here the circumcorneal congestion is present, and you can see the grayish white stromal infiltrate of keratitis. It is very painful. In this diagram you can see these are stitches, and this is a case of penetrating keratoplasty, and after penetrating keratoplasty the patient has developed this whitish lesion along with the sutures, and after culture sensitivity we came to know that it is Streptococcus pneumoniae. It is very painful as the viral bacterial keratitis are. What we will give as a treatment for such keratitis is that we are giving the 4th generation fluoroquinolones, that include the moxifloxacin. Oral antibiotics can be given along with cycloplegics. Here you can see the comparison of bacterial keratitis with fungal keratitis. The above picture, where there are serrated margins, no hypopyon is seen, and circumcorneal congestion is present, this is bacterial keratitis. This is also a bacterial keratitis with inferior circumcorneal congestion and well-defined whitish ulcer on the infratemporal half of the cornea. In this diagram, more than 50% of the cornea is involved with the whitish lesion. This is fungal keratitis, and hypopyon is also present, and that is not visible due to extent of that keratitis. Here the central transparency of the cornea is lost due to keratitis, and there is a small hypopyon visible in this picture. Next comes the viral keratitis. Viral keratitis has typical picture of dendrite. This is dendritic ulcer. You can see the small, when you stain the area with the fluorescein, you can see this loss of epithelium due to infection with the viral organisms. The epithelium is lost over the corneal ulcer, and it has typical dendritic pattern. Here this geographical pattern of the viral keratitis is seen. In this picture you can also see after staining, the geographical pattern of the keratitis is visible. This is another picture where you can see the after staining with the fluorescein, you can see the dendritic pattern of this viral keratitis along with circumcorneal congestion. Hypopyon is not visible in this keratitis. But we will advise for the treatment of viral keratitis, that is control of viral load with the antiviral drugs, and usually it is acyclovir. You can also go for debridement. Debridement is you will scrap the area, and it is said that this debridement can lead to decreased viral load, leading to healing of the ulcer. Topical antibiotics are given to prevent the suppurated bacterial infection. Cycloplegics are given in all cases of keratitis, whether it is bacterial, viral or fungal, to relieve the pain. Fungal keratitis is the third type of fungal keratitis is the third type of keratitis. It is caused when the fungus gain access into corneal stroma through the defect in epithelium, and then they multiply in the corneal stroma and cause tissue necrosis and inflammatory reaction. Here you can see central whitish area, that is keratitis involving the central cornea along with circumcorneal congestion. In the second picture you can see 60% of the corneal area is involved with this ulcer along with the hypopyon and circumcorneal congestion. The fungal keratitis, these are usually associated with trauma with the vegetative material. You will see the male person working outdoors as farmers, which usually present with fungal keratitis after injury with the vegetative materials. The clinical features are foreign body sensation, pain, circumcorneal congestion. You can find out the epithelial defect after staining with the fluorescein, and anterior chamber reaction, that is hypopyon. And depending upon cause of keratitis, there are different features of these three entities. These three entities of keratitis are viral, bacterial and fungal. The treatment for fungal keratitis is natamycin, that is available in drops form, 5% drops, and another injectable antifungal is amphotericin B. We also make drops of this amphotericin B and then we give it to patient for topical use. Voriconazole and fluconazole, itraconazole, these are also antifungal agents which need to be reconstituted with artificial tears and given the patient for topical use. And every second to third day we need to reform these drops. What will be the result if the keratitis or corneal ulcer is not treated timely? It can result into corneal opacity. After healing of the keratitis, there is always a whitish mark on the cornea which will act as a reminder that once this layer of cornea was inflamed or infected. Because once the Bowman's membranes of the cornea is injured or affected due to any cause, it will never regenerate. So corneal opacity will always be there even if the keratitis is healed. Number 2 is corneal thinning or dysmetocele, that the upper layer will be necrosed after inflammation and Descemet's membrane leads to bulge through this corneal ulcer, that is known as dysmetocele. I will show it to you in the next picture. Then comes the perforation. If the inflammation is uncontrolled or load of viral, bacterial or fungal organism is much more than the healing or immune capacity of the cornea, then it can lead to frank perforation. Endophthalmitis is that once the organisms are involving the cornea, then they gain access intraocular contents, and vitreous of the eyeball is also involved. If the vitreous cavity is also involved due to these microorganisms, this will it will be called endophthalmitis. And after total perforation of or endophthalmitis, it can result into the total visual loss. In this picture you can see that due to aggressive nature of the keratitis, it resulted into the loss of cornea from the center of the ulcer, and this is here the iris is visible through this perforation. This is the frank perforation. You can also see this blood stained corneal stroma here, and it shows the severity of the keratitis. So if the corneal keratitis, corneal ulcer is not timely treated, it can lead to the perforation or desmatocele formation of the ulcer. What is the general treatment for keratitis? That is removal of risk factor. For example, if the person is using a contact lens, then these contact lenses should be avoided. And once the patient has developed keratitis after the use of contact lens, then you need to discard those contact lenses. Steroid drops, as I have already told you that chronic use of anesthetic drops or steroid use can lead to the decreased local immunity of the cornea and infection with the microorganisms. So contact lenses or steroid drops, they should be avoided, and these are the risk factors which need to be removed before we start the treatment. Number 2 is the control of infection. How we can control the infection? Control of infection involves the antibacterial, antifungal or antiviral drugs depending upon cause of keratitis. Number 2, if there is more infection, it will lead to decreased healing response of the cornea. So we need to control the infection so that the cornea is healed. Amniotic membrane is another important tool which are used usually in the non-healing corneal ulcers, and it is assumed and it is practically demonstrated that application of amniotic membrane, it also leads to control of the infection. Oral or injectable NSAIDs, they can be used because the keratitis is a painful condition. Cycloplegics, which are cyclopentolate or atropine, these are always given in all cases of keratitis to relieve the pain. Specific treatment, as already told you, involve the antibacterial, antifungal or antiviral drugs. Among antiviral drugs, you will remember acyclovir. Antifungal drugs include natamycin, amphotericin B, itraconazole and fluconazole. And antibacterial, chloramphenicol, tobramycin, moxifloxacin and fusidic acid. Now again we will recapitulate the lecture that keratitis is inflammation of cornea or any of its layers. It consists of 5 layers, and once any of the layer is involved, then it will always send a mark on the cornea, and the corneal opacity will always be there even if the keratitis is healed. There are 5 layers of the cornea. You can see in this picture. Here is the typical picture of keratitis with the hypopyon and circumcorneal congestion. Clinical features of keratitis involve the pain, photophobia, lacrimation, decreased vision, and red eye. There are 3 main types of keratitis: bacterial, viral, and fungal. Risk factor of keratitis is any breach or break in the continuity of the corneal epithelium. Other risk factors include trauma, chemical or thermal injuries, contact lenses, foreign bodies, mechanical work with metal, chisel working, chronic use of topical anesthetic or topical steroids. Bacterial keratitis is due to bacterial involvement of the corneal layers, and common bacteria are Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Strep pneumoniae. Viral keratitis, there is a certain specific point regarding viral infection, that is its dendritic or geographical pattern. And you can easily see this geographical or dendritic pattern after staining with fluorescein. Antiviral drugs involve acyclovir, debridement, and topical cycloplegics to relieve pain. Fungal keratitis is usually associated with trauma of vegetative material, and usually the farmers come with these type of fungal keratitis. Once the corneal epithelium is breached, the fungi gain access to the corneal stroma and leads to necrosis of the stroma and perforation. Antifungal drugs involve natamycin, amphotericin B, itraconazole, fluconazole, and voriconazole. If the fungal or viral or bacterial keratitis, they are not timely treated, they can result into corneal opacity even after healing, corneal thinning or desmetocele formation, perforation, endophthalmitis, or visual loss. And what is the general treatment for keratitis is that is removal of the risk factors, control of infection, NSAIDs to relieve the pain, cycloplegics, and specific treatment in like antibacterial, antifungal, or antiviral drugs. You can ask any question on WhatsApp. The number is shown on the screen. In next 24 hours. Thank you very much.